What's up, turtle lovers? Welcome back to Gamers Den, the show where you, the viewer, come to me, the host, for all the video game walkthroughs and playthroughs, but you stay for the pop culture knowledge we're in. Today, if the intro wasn't a big giveaway and the thumbnail wasn't, we're going to be looking at Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2003, but more specifically, just the first 5 seasons, because the 6th and 7th one are going to be their own separate videos. You remember, right? Videos. There's a reason for that, and I'll get to that later. But this was the series that I grew up with. I also grew up with reruns of the original 80s series, and I was a teenager when the 2014 series started popping up. But the one that I grew up with as a kid and Saturday morning cartoons, nostalgia, was the 2003 series. And it ran for 5 seasons, and it was especially dark. Um, it looked like a normal kids show, of course, but it had some really dark moments that I especially loved. And it added some lore to the set of TMNT and stuff. But first, before we get into any of that, we got to establish the main cast of characters from this fifth season, from season 1 to season 5. So first up, the turtles themselves, as well as Master Splinter. We'll start with Master Splinter. Unlike the original where he is the master dude, in this one, and it's actually one that sticks around afterwards, Master Splinter was a rat owned by oh, I can't remember the dude's name, but his master was slain by the Shredder, and after coming to New York, and well, in New York, the sewer system, he finds 4 little turtles, and they get mutated, and he trains them in the art of ninjutsu, of bushido, honor, and just like his master. But he also gives them the names of the Renaissance masters: Leonardo, Donatello, Raphael, and Michelangelo. And these 4 would eventually grow into the turtles we know and love. Now, unlike the 80s series or even the comics, these even built on what was laid on the foundation for the first 2. The comic series that started it all, the only thing you could really tell them apart was their weaponry. That was it. There was no distinct personalities. There was no distinct way of looking at the characters. It was in black and white, so you couldn't really tell who was who. And even in color, it's usually depicted with red bandanas, all 4 of them. In the 80s series, you could tell from their headbands, they got different personalities for the most part, their weaponry, and they even had little letters on the belt buckle. But that specific feature was dropped, and their personalities were enhanced. Leonardo is the leader, and is the most responsible because he's the oldest. He feels like he has to be. He's the most disciplined and the most powerful of the 4 turtles. Wielding a dual set of katana, he is a conflicted character, and they gave him a lot of depth that I just don't think the first 2 series, or even the more recent Rise of TMNT, they kind of dropped that. 2014 series did touch on this more, even more so. It was even darker, being honest. But this kind of set Leo as the quote unquote Splinter Jr., as Raphael loves to call him. But he does this because he wants what's best for his brothers. Next up, we have Donatello, the intelligent one, and he didn't change too much, but he did become a little more socially awkward, but at the same time, confident in taking out, tech stuff. He became somewhat confident as the series went on as well. And he seems to have a really good relationship with Michelangelo, which we'll get to in a second. Raph, he's the hothead, but they even amplified it further with this guy. He, as the theme song suggests, and I'll get to that in a little bit too, he's the first one to throw a punch. He's the most likely to throw the first punch. Not the villains, him. If he sees evil, he's gonna smack you one. They also established more of a connection with Casey Jones with him. Him and Leo are probably the same, almost identical strength wise. If anyone was to take over the the command role, it was Raph. But his hot headedness is what kind of brings him down a peg below Leo. Wielding Donatello wields a bow staff, which is a two-handed weapon, and that's why he's only got one of them, whereas the rest have two. With Raph, it's two side. Um, and he wields them with efficiency, and sometimes he'll even use the butt of them as you know. And then of course there's Mikey, and he's probably the one that has changed the least. Although he has, again, he knows when to be serious too. He isn't just joking all the time like the rest of them, like the original incarnation. Um, Mikey is the kid brother. He's the comic relief. He's not very bright. He's a little naive, but with those nunchucks and when he's fighting, he usually pisses them off. He usually pisses off the villains. He pisses off his brothers. He's the baby brother. You know, he's supposed to. He's supposed to. You know, it's in the contract. You gotta tick off your older siblings a little bit every now and again. Um, and April actually gets a full upgrade. And this is the April that I remember growing up with. She trades in a yellow jumpsuit and kind of bob haircut, red haircut for a kind of pixie style ponytail, purple shirt that goes down to here to exposing her belly, a belt, cargo pants, go all the way down, and combat boots. She is definitely resourceful. See, unlike the other one who is always constantly getting in trouble, this one usually stays behind and is usually tech support along with Donatello. She's really good with that. Casey got a complete overhaul. Dude's more of a laid back dude unless he sees the purple dragons, which those are a group of street thugs that are constantly attacking. Um, but then Casey and April start having a little bit of a girlfriend boyfriend thing going on. I actually love that about them. It's actually, I think this is where that starts. That whole romance between those two start. Then we get a love triangle in the next series with Donatello thrown into the mix, and it's just like, ooh, okay. But I do love the dynamic between these two humans and the mutants. But of course, we've also got the Shredder. But this isn't the original Shredder. They did change his backstory and everything else with this character, and they established a whole new race for this series, the Utrons. The Utrons. They look a little bit like the Krang, but they're different. The Krang are kind of football shaped and everything, but the Utroms are like little. They almost like Pac-Man. The little Pac-Man ghost mixed with jellyfish. The jellyfish from Finding Nemo. You know the little pink one from that movie. Kind of looks like a combination of those. Um, and these are the good guys, except for one, a red version. And two, he took the mantle of the Shredder. But this isn't the original Shredder. No, this Shredder is actually a demon. It's established by season 4, I think, and into season 5, and the Ninja Tribunal's thrown into the mix, and all these other characters. The Justice Force, which are basically parodies of both of the Avengers and the Justice League. Led by Silver Sentry, which is basically Superman and Captain America combined, which they did do that once. Look it up, Amalgam Comics. It's actually really good. Um, but yeah, they did that. They brought in all kinds of new characters, including giving the Utrom Shredder, the one they fight through most of the series, a daughter in Karai, and Karai has really become a character that everybody knows now. Hun, leader of the Purple Dragons, I don't know if he's popped up in more recent sets. I don't know if even the Purple Dragons have. I don't remember. In a while since I watched 2014 series. Or and I haven't watched any of the Rise of TMNT, so I don't know that. Some of the storylines do include some miscellaneous villains and everything else, but the whole series centers around the conflict of the Foot Clan and the Turtles and their family, their little makeshift family, all culminating in an epic battle by the end of it, of their allies and even some of their enemies like Dr. Baxter Stockman, who in this one has probably one of the most horrific transformations. I'm not going to go into detail because I don't want to get slammed by YouTube, but yeah, look it up. It's actually really gruesome for a kids show. Um, and Bishop, a CIA, FBI kind of deep shadow dude who wants to eradicate the alien menace. And we'll talk about him again soon. Don't you worry about that. There's a reason for that. But you also have like, the Foot, of course, and the Ninja Tribunal, the ancient one. He's super funny. I like him. Um, there's all kinds of characters, and some of the storylines they are dark. Some of these storylines are really, really dark. Which is surprising again, considering this is a kids show. Now this went through 3 different um theme songs that changed something. The first one was the original. Second one changed the 1, 2, 3, 4, and listing off the different. Before it was listing off um, the various like rules for them that they go by. Whereas the next 2 would showcase the characters of the turtles. Um, I love the fact that Michelangelo, when they did his, the wise guy is Michelangelo. I thought that was funny. He is a wise guy. Gets smacked quite a bit by Raph for it too. Um, they also changed the Shredder part. Watch out for Shredder, and it's Shredder, or the first Shredder that we see in the show. The next one is Mikey and the Turtles on the Foot Tower, saying Mikey saying we shredded Shredder, and then the next one is Karai's Shredder. She dons the Shredder outfit too, and everything. So it's a whole thing. These 5 seasons are action packed. Very, they can be pretty dark, but it's really enjoyable. If you love the Turtles, you love action series, you love, you know, um, villain and monster type of the week type deals, you'll love this series. There's no Bebop, there's no Rocksteady though, but there's a host. I don't think there are. There might be a couple of mutants here, but it wouldn't be until the next series, that 2014 series, that they had a bunch of like everything that came before came together to make one big gigantic thing. And they did make a Turtles Forever movie that had a bunch of other like the past, the 80s series and the comic book series, which is the first time I'd seen the characters like that. I've never seen the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles comics. I don't think I've ever seen one up close. But yeah, you can find all 7 seasons on YouTube. Go check the 2003 to 2005 series out. It's a really good one, and like I said, um, next week we'll be looking at Captain America, the First Avenger, but we will also be looking at the Turtles for as far as fast forward goes, which that's the 6 seasons tagline. You'll soon see why. I'm not going to give any spoilers for those who don't already know. Go watch the series. I highly recommend it. It's so good. Well worth your time. I'm actually finishing up Fast Forward as we speak. Um, like I said, I grew up with the series. Did y'all? Go down in the comment section down below and let me know if you did. If you did, did you enjoy it? Also, be sure to like, share, subscribe, ring the bell for notifications. All that good YouTube jazz. Um, hope to see you guys next time. I've been Canis Lupus. This has been the Gamers Den. Hope to see you guys next time for another just awesome video. Hope to see you guys next time. Bye.